Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. In this latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam, I'm going to catch you up on some stories that have occurred over the span of the last few days having to do with the SEC, which I will warn you is still trying to ruin your opportunity for life-changing wealth. And things have been so hot and exciting in the world of crypto regarding price action. I've been spending a lot of time sharing perspective from a lot of individuals along with my own thoughts on what's going on. And, obviously, look, I'm just like you. I've got real skin in the game. I've been investing in the crypto asset class for over 6 years. So in times of a market cycle, when it's this hot, yeah, I'm just like you. That's where most of my interest in, because just like you guys, like, I've got a lot to lose if this doesn't go well, to be for real. And it's also really exciting. I've been heavily focusing on that recently. So I want to play a little bit of catch up in this video because in times that are less exciting price-wise for crypto, I would have covered some of this stuff already, but it's still interesting and important nonetheless. So playing a little bit of catch-up here, but there's 3 stories I'm going to share with you in this video, and I'll be starting with this one. SEC Chair Gary Gensler refuses to comment on whether Ethereum is a security, likens crypto to a roller coaster. And so, look, I'll just say this. We in the XRP community are fortunate, not that we got slaughtered last market cycle because of the SEC, but at least at this particular moment in time, we are actually the most protected from a legal perspective. But I still worry about a lot of the other coins that I hold. I'm less worried than I was before the outcome of the lawsuit, but man, like, just wait until I show you what Gensler's still saying today. Like, it's ridiculous. This man has no shame. Then there's also this headline from the Crypto Basic. Another court lambasts SEC, calls its rules vague and loosey-goosey. Now that's a legal term if I've ever heard one. And then there's also this, and this is repulsive obviously, but look at this headline. Binance US has laid off majority of its staff and suffered blows to revenue due to SEC lawsuit. And so I just, like, we know that Binance has been hit hard because of the SEC specifically, but the degree to which the business has been perhaps irreparably harmed, I hope not irreparably, is astonishing. This is much worse than I was aware prior to this news coming out the other day. But before digging into this, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. All right, so into this first piece. U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chair Gary Gensler is declining to comment on whether smart contract platform Ethereum counts as a security or a commodity. In a new interview with Bloomberg Television, Gensler says he does not want to answer questions about Ethereum's classification as an asset amid anticipation of the regulatory agency's decision on spot market ETH exchange-traded fund application. So let's pause right there to note that he's using that as an excuse now. He still wouldn't say, up until this point, the whole time he's been running the SEC, what the hell ETH or any other coin is. In fact, it took him a long time to even say that Bitcoin is not a security. He still, despite what happened in the SEC v. Ripple case, despite the judge saying that XRP itself is not a security, and the SEC itself responding to that saying, yeah, and we don't intend to appeal. Like, the SEC literally wrote to the court saying, Judge Torres, we do not intend to appeal that decision regarding XRP. They literally stated that. But even so, they won't apply that logic to the rest of the crypto space. That's astonishing. So they do not want you listening to this to achieve life-changing wealth. They want to take away the opportunity from you because they look down on you. They think you're too stupid, S-T-O-O-P-I-D, stupid, to manage your own finance. It's like they look down on you to the degree that they don't think you can put your own shirt on in the morning. And I'm wondering how these, Velcro shoe-wearing sons of bitches are getting their own shirts on in the morning because they don't make any damn sense, and I'm not convinced they have a fully functional brain. But here you have, and so this is why when people have been talking about how, oh, well, tell you what, Ethereum ETF, just around the corner, it's about to come, and I'm like, you sure about that? Because I am not sure about that. I am not sure about that. In fact, I find it highly improbable. In fact, I don't think that the Bitcoin ETF would have been approved unless Gary Gensler felt like he was backed into a corner because of the losses, certainly in the Grayscale case. And so here's a quote from him. This is from Kim Jong Gensler. Any one of these crypto tokens is about the facts and circumstances as to whether the investing public is anticipating a profit based on the efforts of others, but we do have filings in front of us. I'm not going to comment, end quote. And so, like, if he were being intellectually honest, he'd just say, well, the asset itself is never a security. As far as it pertains to the ETH ETF, we can't make a comment on that. But of course, no cryptocurrency on its own, just by the nature of existing, is of course a security. But he won't say that. He's still fighting this thing. Now, obviously, it's a losing battle. But, you know, this is why I say, like, however you want to vote, I don't care. This is not a political channel. Just be aware that if you're going to vote to keep the current administration in charge, you are voting against your own financial interests, specifically as it pertains to the cryptocurrency asset class. And, you know, I'm not a single issue voter, and so if you're not, and you're like, yeah, this is going to hurt me financially in the world of crypto, might ruin my chances for life-changing wealth, but these other things are so important to me, I can respect that from an ideological perspective. Just know that what you're doing is shooting yourself in the foot, metaphorically, by keeping this administration in charge. And not that it's going to be all rainbows and sunshine and puppies and ice cream, if there's a change. But I will say, under the previous administration, it was way less bad. Like, this Biden administration came in and like hold my beer. Way worse. Oh my God. Devastatingly worse. Anyway, Peace continues. Gensler says that cryptocurrencies are a highly speculative asset class, citing the volatility of Bitcoin during the last few days. Quote, I grew up loving roller coasters. Maybe in my adult years I don't ride them as much, but you really should be conscious as the investing public that this is a bit of a roller coaster ride on these volatile assets. The question is, how firm is the foundation of that? You get to the top of that hill. How is the foundation underneath it? Their cash flows are what's the use case for thousands of these tokens, end quote. Right, and so this is the way he looks at it, and you're too stupid to make your own financial decisions. And you know what? If some people are too stupid to make their own financial decisions, well, too bad for them, but you don't take away my freedom and my opportunity to invest my money how I want to. That's how this works. That's how it should work in the real world. We should have the freedom to make our own mistakes, period. That's why I find this whole view on this to be offensive on its face. And on top of this, so he's talking about volatility. Volatility is the purpose of investing. If you knew that something wasn't going to move up and there was no chance, it was literally like a stable coin. If you knew that was the case, would you invest in that? Would that be an investment? No, that'd be a place you park your money for stability. That would not be an investment. The purpose of investing is volatility. And so if you're in crypto, you recognize that there's extreme volatility and that, yeah, we don't like it as much when it's to the downside, but we love it to the upside. Thousands of % gains historically at many points in time in the world of crypto. We know that's been happening, don't we? For 15 freaking years, we know it's been trending up. So the volatility, while we don't like it on the way down, we know it trends upward, so it's fine anyway. Just generally speaking, as an asset class. I'm not talking about any specific coin. As an asset class. And he's framing this as though that's not desirable. He's lying to the public, deceiving, tricking the public, as if this weren't good. That's the purpose. Can you imagine if the stock market had no volatility? What the hell's the point of parking money in there? I mean, I guess it's better than having the, money in the, having the actual United States dollar, which is losing value due to inflation. But beyond that, come on. We want to invest in stuff that's going to go up because there's volatility. This is just nonsense, jibber jabber, hoo-ha, BS. Peace continues. The SEC chair goes on to reiterate that there are some contexts where digital assets can be considered securities. He says a defining factor is what an investor expects from the asset when purchasing it. Quote, there's about 15,000 or 20,000 digital assets. They also may be securities because the investing public is relying on the efforts of some group of entrepreneurs in the middle of these products, end quote. And so there you go. Right there. That's the same nonsense that they argued in the SEC v. Ripple case. He's still pushing this crap. Now, I think it's pretty clear that it's going to be a losing battle. It's just that it's not guaranteed yet. And so we need him out of here. What we really need to happen is a change in administration so that he's gone. And then on top of that, we need Congress to actually do something on this front to provide some level of clarity. But my God, just getting rid of Kim Jong Gensler, putting someone else in charge, like even just that would go a long way, frankly. Potentially. And I know that, people are saying that, hey, Gensler, he's pro-crypto, going to be better than Jay Clayton. And that obviously wasn't true. But I'm just saying under a different administration, it would be more likely that someone taking over would probably have a bit more of a pro-crypto stance. And then there's this. Another court lambasted SEC calls its rules vague and loosey-goosey. I love this. Just think back to everything else that we've been hearing from the courts for roughly the last year. Arbitrary and capricious, that's been used before. How about lacking a faithful allegiance to the law? How about that one? Remember that in the SEC v. Ripple case? This case, by the way, what's being cited here, it's actually not crypto specific, but it just shows the rot that is in this disgusting government agency. It's just despicable. It's not just, it's the people that actually have power here, including the attorneys. Piece reads as follows: SEC suffers another criticism in court as the Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit describes its rules as vague and loosey-goosey. The United States Securities and Exchange Commission is no stranger to criticisms as it continues to attract condemnation from multiple United States judges. In a recent development, Ripple's chief legal officer called attention to a lawsuit where a judge in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit slammed the SEC over its buyback disclosure rule. The judge overseeing the case between the National Center for Public Policy Research, or NCPPR for short, and the SEC described the regulator's rule as, quote, vague and loosey-goosey, end quote. According to the judge, no one seems to know whether they would be at risk if they fail to ask for clarifications about the SEC's rules. So pause there. Doesn't that sound like what's been happening in crypto? They want to keep things as vague and indiscernible as possible so that they have the option open to come back and sue the ever-loving crap out of you if they so choose. They want to have that latitude. That's why they're doing this. That's despicable. It's not about justice. It's not about helping the public. None of these things. It's completely antithetical to their actual mission statement. Protecting investors and, helping to ensure that there's, capital formation in U.S. markets. No. Will that be damned, right? Piece continues. Although the NCPPR v. SEC lawsuit is unrelated to crypto, Ripple's CLO still shared it on X, looked to call attention to the SEC's perceived inability to present clear rules. Alderati noted that there is a possibility that the Fifth Circuit judge could be onto something for criticizing the SEC's rules as vague. And so again, I'm just highlighting this to show you we are right. There's a pattern here. The SEC is repulsive. And so here's the actual quote from Ripple's chief legal officer, Stuart Alderati. I don't know much about this proxy access case argued in the Fifth Circuit yesterday, but when a judge says the SEC's rules are, quote, so vague and loosey-goosey that nobody knows whether they'll be at risk, end quote, she may be onto something. Spot on, Stuart Alderati, absolutely. And because of this disgraceful agency, real people are really harmed. Take a look at this from the Daily Hodl. Binance US has laid off majority of its staff and suffered blows to revenue due to SEC lawsuit. Folks, this is devastating. Now, I'm rooting for them to come back for sure. I have an account here at Binance US, and I have for many, many years. I've used them many times. And nothing against them. It's just, when I know that they've been financially harmed to this degree, it makes me, and it's not, this part isn't Binance's fault, but it makes me less confident in them just as a regular person. And I'm sure you can all understand why. And this isn't me saying they're going to go under, and I don't want them to, and I don't have evidence or reason to believe that's imminently going to happen or anything of the sort. All I'm saying is that the SEC has introduced doubt in my mind, in many people's minds. It is absolutely damaged them. That's why they're having these financial struggles here. And real people lost jobs because of these asshat pricks at the SEC. Really steams my vegetables, son. Piece reads as follows. Binance's U.S. arm is reportedly downsizing amid legal challenges with federal securities regulators. In June, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed 13 charges against Binance and its founder Changpeng Zhao, or CZ for short, for allegedly selling unregistered securities, misleading investors about security protocols, and mishandling customer funds. And again, folks, it seems very clear that there was something, there were some things that were done that weren't right, that were illegal, which is why CZ, being a part of this, obviously pled guilty. This is nowhere near on the level of FTX, where there was outright fraud, stealing customer funds, blowing them all in hats. Bonus points to you if you know what movie I'm referencing without Googling it. It's nothing along those lines. So if they broke the law, they broke the law. Okay. but then to take action which destroys a company in the United States, Binance US, that's despicable. You know, if you mess up, you don't deserve to cease to exist necessarily, right? Piece continues. Binance US, which operates under BAM Trading, is also accused of colluding with its parent company to artificially inflate trading volume. In a deposition released on Tuesday, Binance US COO Christopher Blodgett says the lawsuit forced the US platform to lay off more than 200 employees, roughly 2/3 of its workforce, according to a new report from Fortune. So folks, think about this. Binance US, however you want to call it, structure-wise, basically like a sister company of Binance, which is the largest cryptocurrency exchange on the entire planet by volume. You'd think that they kind of should know what they're doing to some degree, right? Lose 2/3 of their employees. That's insane. Now check out the revenue, though. Check this out. This gets more ridiculous and awful. Blodgett also notes Binance US's revenue fell by around 75% after the SEC filed a motion asking the court to issue a restraining order to freeze the company's assets. Although the judge turned down the request, the lawsuit still significantly impacted the exchange's earnings. Blodgett says the lawsuit and the restraining order were a near mortal blow to Binance that impaired the firm's ability to find partners such as banks and market makers. And so, folks, this is why you saw a bit of an exodus, at least for many people. So there are types of people that will leave their cryptocurrency on exchanges. That I don't think that's a great idea. You know, I'm all about self-custody, to each their own, but I think it's a really bad idea. But still, that fleet, which means that when people were ready to buy or sell, they were way less likely to use Binance. So 2/3 of employees gone, 75% of revenue gone, but it gets even worse. Check this out. He says that, please continue. He says that in the months following the filings of the charges, the number of Binance US partners fell from more than 20 to less than 5. The SEC's legal action also happened during the bear market, which saw the collapse of FTX Exchange and other major industry players. Quote, our trading volumes in business more generally have imploded, end quote. See, this is repulsive. We're supposed to have free markets in this damn country. We're not supposed to have the government picking winners and losers, and that's exactly what's happening here. That is unforgivable. That is disgusting, harming real people. So I hope they're able to come back, but so they lost, 75% of their partners, roughly, 75% revenue drop, 2/3 of employees gone. Like, my God, if they did something wrong, give them a fine, whatever, this or that. And if CZ actually needs to go to jail, okay. I'm not privy to the specifics there. He already pleaded guilty, so there's something there. But this isn't FTX. This doesn't make sense. This is the SEC seeking to harm real people rather than protect people. It couldn't be more obvious. This is the SEC trying to destroy this, and the end goal, to destroy your opportunity to participate in this asset class, to destroy your opportunity listening to this to achieve life-changing wealth. This is the most incredible vehicle for life-changing wealth that has ever existed in the existence of our species. That's not hyperbole. That is arguably true. There's never been anything like this. And we happen to be living through like the golden era of this. And these pricks at the SEC want to take that from you. And they're happy to trample people's lives in the process, and businesses. Well, businesses are people anyway, let's be real. It's not just the brick and mortar that make up the businesses. Businesses are people. It's just repulsive. So that's the latest and what's been happening over the last few days or so regarding the SEC, but it's just disgraceful. Now, the good news is, I firmly believe anyway, that we're going to come out on the right side of this. Directionally, it seems like the winds are blowing that way. The winds at our backs. SEC suffering defeat after defeat in the world of crypto. They're not getting a whole lot of wins these days. Easy to understand why. It seems that there's at least, even if it's just lip service, support from Congress, broadly speaking. We need to see some actual implementation of things that are going to cause material difference to the positive. But, we're going the right way. It's just with this administration, just, again, if you want to shoot yourself in the foot, you know what to do. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.